All right, we're live, or at least we should be. I just had well, I didn't have to, but I believed that I needed to restart my machine. So I just restarted my machine, and in the hopes that everything runs as smoothly as possible during the stream. So bear with me while I slowly get my shit together. Usual disclaimer that goes at the beginning of every one of these while people are still showing up. If you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, if you're watching on Twitch, go over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel if you end up liking what you see. If this is your first one, feel free to skip ahead. A lot of times it takes us a little while to get going. This is just a raw dump of a live stream in which we are typically working on some aspect of the game or playtesting the game, or sometimes we're playing P99 or something else, but that's pretty rare these days. But it's a development stream, and you're just getting the unrehearsed sort of normal day in the life of someone that is not aspiring to be a YouTuber and thus doesn't refine their streaming or YouTube skills. On that note, yeah, if you do wind up liking it, please subscribe, check out our mailing list. You should be able to find our website mailing list and everything else, Discord, through the YouTube channel. So, monstersandmemories.com, Monsters and Memories on YouTube, A Loving Robot on YouTube. If you're here because you saw some of the EQ videos where I've interviewed some of my friends, former coworkers, yeah, but you're not aware of Eminem, then check that out. Anyway, I'm rambling. I need to finish getting everything set up. Let's get Unity started. We'll open the database as well. I donated. You see this? I actually did donate. I need to figure out how I need to read the manual. Figure out how I can, now that I've donated, get this to go away. So you guys can stop thinking I'm a cheap ass. Because it's not true. 100%. Kind of true. Fecal finger painting. Good morning, Archmage. Good morning, Belfaster. Good morning. Albius, good morning. Belfaster, I forget. Apologies if we've already discussed this, and we probably have. You're here pretty consistently. And by pretty consistently, I mean damn consistently. What do you do? Why do you have so much free time? That came out weird. What do you do? Why are you here? Music. Let's get some background music going. Switch back over to Eminem account. Yo. Yeah, it took me a little bit longer to get in than expected because I was restarting my machine, and then I realized it's September 1st. So Twitch wanted me to, or my chatbot needed me to reauthorize all of the authorization tokens or whatever that allows it to do its job. Old school RuneScape playlist. Big fan. Old school RuneScape music. That's the big boy list. Let me hit pause here. Or not. Let me see how loud it is. Okay, it's not that loud for you guys. And fixing the sound levels for both of us. Professor said, I'm an analyst working from home, so you're on my side fun monitor. Then I lower volume mute if someone thinks it's a good idea to schedule an early morning meeting. It's pretty damn early. Alright. How's the music's levels? The music's levels. Why the F do I stream? Alright, Shira's in. You know what? I wasn't able to get in last night because Shira was doing something wonky, so let me hop into game real quick, take a look around. Spent part of the morning going through some new lore for the Rogue faction that Tamad's written up. Fantastic stuff. There's some really fun stuff in there. So went through that, got it into our wiki, our Confluence, or should I say our wiki, our Confluence. So it'll be fun starting on their quests and stuff. I've got Ranger Quest, I think is next on deck to implement. I might do that some today while we're hanging out. Oh man. I ate some of my homemade kimchi earlier for lunch, and we'll find out if that winds up being a bad idea. Belfaster said I'm a big nap taker, usually stay up late, wake up early, finish work fairly early, take a fat nap right after work. What was it? Oh, I had that schedule when I was in the army. I was stationed in DC, and we, for the most part, when we weren't doing like army stuff, it wound up being kind of a, not a 9 to 5 job, kind of like a 4 to 6 job. 4 to 5 job, and so once I got off at 5, usually my roommate and I head home, take a nice couple hour nap, and then we'd be up super late most nights. Especially before I got a steady girlfriend, because then we're always out with the GIs doing GI stuff in DC. Here lately, there'll definitely be days where I've got to take a nap sometime in the afternoon. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning yesterday and could not get back to sleep, and wound up having a pretty action-packed day. And so by the time we finally got around to being able to watch like an hour of TV together, we were sitting on the couch, and it was going to be like an hour and 30-minute show that we were watching, German crime show, and by the time we hit like the 1 hour 10 mark, I was falling asleep. Oh, let's go see the Ashira. Ooh, and I can also test the code that I think was just fixed on item turn-ins. So, good stuff. Let's go do that. Looks like those got fixed. We'll run out here. We'll see if we can see an Ashira. Let me make myself invulnerable just to... Oops. Change keyboard languages. Invuln. Good. Let's see if we can find one. Albius, thanks. Yeah. For those of you that don't know what Albius is talking about right now. So if you look right here, we have a button that's grayed out because there's a bug called look. It ungrays. If I look, then it comes off cooldown and will unlock itself. Yep. See, there it is. Need to get these back in. We had them implemented in the previous Night Harbor. And there are a couple places I could show you out here. Looks like Nick had put one in by the well here. And we've got another one over here that I was showing last stream. But essentially what it is it allows you to interact with the environment in a text-based manner. Kind of like playing an old text-based adventure game or a MUD. So we dubbed it initially like MUD objects. But it's our interactive object system, and instead of having it be something where like you see a sparkly or you see a unique object and you mouse over it and it changes your mouse to be an interaction icon, and typically then you just hold that and timer goes off and then it goes, oh, something happened. What we're gonna do instead is this, right? So if I look here, right now there are no true visual clues telling you that this inscribed rock is here. We'll see how far we go with like art representing some of the stuff in there. Again, the idea is to be able to do a lot of detailed and interesting interactions, not spend a huge amount of time on unique assets. So anyways, I look here and it'll say, you notice an inscribed stone at the center of the ruins, right? And so then right now we have a command that's inspect. So if I do /inspect, it says, you know, ask me, basically tells me I need to inspect a thing, right? The way I think we're going to change it is have it be like a /use command, because look already does inspect. Oh no, I remember how we change it. So in theory, we keep inspect and we add use, because inspect, and then I would say inspect stone, and then it would give me very specific information about stone that wasn't available from look. Okay. Thanks for reminding me, chat. Anyway, so then use, I've got a piece of parchment in here. Oh, that's actually the finished result. I've got a piece of, I'm lying to you. I had a piece of parchment and I had a piece of charcoal. And in theory, the way this would work is I hacked it this time to just say inspect stone. And as long as I have the objects, the charcoal and the parchment, then it gives me this inscription basically that I make. But the idea is you could say, use the charcoal and parchment on the stone. And then the response would be, you rub the charcoal over the parchment and the inscription appears on the parchment or something like that, right? And so yeah, that's the idea. But in different areas you'd be able to look, and it might give you some little indication of something special about this area or a description or whatever. And then the whole system can also be triggered passively based on what skills you have, potentially what item you have in your inventory, what spell you have on you. Like if you've got see invis, maybe you see an object that's sitting here, right? So essentially it's just, this is our approach with most things. We're taking some fairly known systems, fairly simple data-driven systems, combining them to give us the ability to cheaply create some pretty interesting content. And since it's all data driven and it's not necessarily asset, it's not heavily dependent on assets, art assets and things like that. It means we can also feed this content in dynamically over time. We can schedule it. We can have it appear based on day night, which we can already do, I think. We could have it based on lunar cycles. We could have it based on, all sorts of shit. That's, yeah. Would the results of inspect depend on some kind of skill, lore, or something similar, or some type of quest flagging behind the scenes? It'll primarily depend on whether or not we want it to be skill dependent, and then skill. And this goes into some of the weird skills that we have, like we have survival skills and astronomy and masonry and all sorts of shit. Bullet catcher, the lunar cycle is 100% cribbed from old school Ultima component or reagent availability and the moon gates. Always loved it. Obvious, appreciate the offer. Definitely just keep around. It's funny you mentioned, well, it's not funny you mentioned that, but the transition that I will make now. I cannot speak worth a shit today. Apologies. I'm going to start drinking my coffee. Today is September 1st. And the significance of September 1st is if you go to our website and you scroll down in our updates, I know I mentioned this Tuesday, so apologies for being repetitive. But if you go to updates and monsters and memories, updates, right here, development updates, that's us. Is our website down? Maybe we don't have a website anymore. Is the internet down? You guys are still here. Huh. No clue. You guys try it on your machine. Can you access our website? Does our website just... Is it a Squarespace issue? Oh, there we go. Finally. Yeah, I don't know, man. German internet. Yeah, it was a good run. Everybody shut down. All right, the internet's over. Time to go to the garden. Anyways, if you go here, 9/1/21, looking for a group looking for more. And this is when we posted the, hey, we actually want to expand the team and get a 3D artist and a programmer to help Ollie. And that was a year ago today. And over the course of like the next month, we wound up adding some folks and have been blazing ever since. That's when we added, in no particular order, so no offense. That's when we added Gary and John on the tech side. That's when we added, I always want to say Connor, but you'll know Zukin better. Same thing with Harrison and Pattis. So Zukin and Pattis, and then Goblin after that. Yeah, and so we've expanded the team. This year, Hamad's come back. We've had Keith join. We've had Robert join on the audio side. We now have Erkenstaff / William working with us on animations. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. If I am, I apologize. When do you think we'll see the new animation from the new gals implemented? The gal is working on Jackal stuff, so we'll see that. I haven't seen anything on that front yet. The stuff William's been adding, I think we're already looking at it, to be honest. Don't know if I'm mistaken, but I think we're already looking at it. I don't see any Ashira, so... Oh, no, I do. I see him way back there, if I had to guess. That's an Ashira back there. They're not animated yet. So, I'm invulnerable, so I can attack. So, human animations have been going in. New rig, and then just sort of blasting through a first pass of animations, and then we'll start doing a bit more. As we're seeing them all in, we'll do a bit more feedback and get a rating on them. So we need to fix the shield attach point on the Ashira. They've got a very bobby idle at the moment. And there's some texture work. Zukin said he wanted to work on the textures a bit. So, yep, they just went in. This one's holding a weapon. Oh, need to fix the attach point there as well. Thanks, Kronos. Hey, Pattis. Yeah, it's going to be fun seeing these guys come online animation-wise and stuff. Let's see, as the textures continue to be iterated on, I think getting the animation style for these guys just right will be huge. We have to see. It might be some tweaks here and there for the to the Geo. Zukin, if you are watching this later. Don't worry. I'm not being critical. Yeah, I'm looking at it because there are little shapes in here, whereas I think if we can just give the shape a little bit more of a pop here and there, and then all the skinnier stuff that we are looking at doing, like some of the, I know with like the wood elves and some of the other races and critters that have more skinny proportions. I'll be curious to see what we can do to have little, just again, because we're going for a very low poly aesthetic, it's not going to be details, but it'll be more like a, is there something we can do to make the certain limbs or certain longer shapes, especially with the skinnier stuff, have just a little bit more angle and a little bit more, just a little bit more sort of like, I don't know how to describe it because I'm not an artist, but you know, basically have it not feel as flat in places, right? So like the forearm and the upper arm, there's something we can do to keep it skinny but also have it flare just a bit, like make it slightly more chunky. And it'll be the same thing with these types of, like I like the calf right there. The calf pops a little bit. Yeah. So it's the same kind of feedback and stuff we had when we were looking at the rat the first time. He's got little leggers. My dog ate a mouse at the garden yesterday. I was pretty bummed. I was really rooting for that mouse. I'd helped it avoid the dog earlier, and then he eventually found it. But I guess it's the mouse's fault. I put it somewhere where it couldn't be got, and then what did it do? It came out and got. I like the cape too. I can't wait for us to be playing with the cloth thing that we have. What is it? It's not a cloth sim, a cloth engine. Anyways, we bought a license for a thing that does cloth in a way that Ali thinks will wind up looking pretty dope for our style. So obvious. Have a good day at work. Man, I always do that. Now my coffee is cold. Not cold, lukewarm. I don't mind cold coffee, but this time I was honestly kind of hoping for hot coffee. I put in some POI data for different areas within the city. I don't know, since the last stream, I guess. So in theory, if I come up to a guard and hail, got him targeted, I could say, where is the garrison? And he says the garrison can be found to the west of here. And so I think that's the bug. We've got to get with the programmers and see in code how are we defining the cardinal directions, because that's north, that's south. So, and that's the garrison. So they'll give you directions to places. They're just full of shit at the moment. So how about this? Where is the bank? And you'll see, depending on how far away it is, maybe the guard has low sense heading skill. Nice. So the garrison's not too far to the west of here. Actually, south. And then the bank can be found a ways to the southeast. It's actually northeast. So I think something's just rotated in the code, but it gets into, like, it's an interesting question of, well, no, because all of our zones that we've got placeholders for so far are implemented in a way where it respects this as north. So once we fix it in code, it should be consistent. Belfaster asks, what are the rules on seats for our license? Does just the individual working with it need a seat? I was always curious how that worked in smaller software companies. Only ever experienced licensing stuff at mega corporations where they have hundreds of thousands of them and just get one off the stack. In my experience, and I think it may vary, and you may also find that I'm just wrong. In my experience, the seats are specific to use. Because it's smaller companies, like mid-sized companies of 50 to 100 people. We typically, when we're doing the budget, like going through all the line items, if the company's being diligent and not just sort of, nickeling and diming itself to death, we'll go through and we'll, sit with either all of the teams if I'm working at a, like, sort of a higher leadership level, or if I'm the producer for a team, I would go through with my team and go, all right, let's look at all of our seats. How many are we using? Are you still using it? Do we really need that? Because a lot of times at the companies I've been at, we pay attention to everything. Like anywhere where we can be more cost effective, we will be, and it's a few thousand here and there, and it doesn't add up to a huge amount, but it's still a few thousand here and there. And sometimes if we can find ways of saving 10,000 a month, then what we can also do is, if the team's really being diligent and staying on top of it, we can say, hey, we're now saving 10,000 a month, and we'll allocate another, I don't know, 500 or 1,000 or something a month to like a fund that the team can benefit from, whether that be, food that we're getting or some sort of thing like that. Or at the company I was at in Germany, Big Point, they did a really, really good job of having like a, and I think it's a byproduct of the German Works Council system. So Big Point was like at one point 1,200 people, and they laid off like 700 at once. And that was a new experience for German tech. And they were really like, what the fuck? And so the government got involved, which any company over the size of like 50 or 100 people in Germany, I think can or should have a works council. Oh, hey, I forgot. Gentle Mellow, thank you for the follow. Gutsy is nuts, or Guts is nuts. Sorry. Thank you for the follow. Anyway, any company over like 50 or 100 people, I forget what it is in Germany, I think either has to have a works council or can have a works council. And what that winds up being is like, it's kind of like a strange, not a union, but union type scenario. And there's a whole bunch of the usual bureaucratic shit that comes with it. And it can be a pain in the ass, but the some of the benefits were things like the team actually then was pretty well organized. The team elected its own kind of leadership. The team would go have meetings and talk about how they felt the team was doing, and their representative would come back and be like, hey man, you need to work on your communication on this and that, or blah 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 blah, per the team's belief at least. And I found that to be good. And then they also they had a budget allocated to them for the year, and then they would use that budget to basically set up team events. And I hate setting that kind of shit up. I'm not like a big I want to sit around, use my time to plan cool events for you kind of thing. But I'll definitely facilitate the shit out of it once the team has an idea. And they set up like 2 big events a year, and then we had like quarterly events or whatever. An event like they basically was set up, we'd go out and get beer and chicken wings or something, one night. But then the bigger events were like the whole team goes to an amusement park, right? And I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of respect for the effort that went into it and the stuff that they did. So Belfaster said, I saw a documentary that toured an awesome German pencil factory. Is that a known thing? It was interesting because the council thing you're describing, but also how the outside looked like cool road housing despite being a giant factory in the middle of a city. Yeah, depending on the city, they've got so many rules for everything here. It's I'm not actually for that part of it. A lot of silly bureaucracy. But some of the stuff winds up being pretty neat with regards to like maybe how they might preserve a historic facade in a city or something. Or I don't know about the pencil company. I could ask my wife. I know I wonder if it's that one really dope brand of like colored pencils you can get everywhere. Anyway. Yeah, so and I don't think the goals are much different than what any decent company will have in like the US or whatever. The accountability on the management side was pretty interesting. So like if you're going to have crunch, you actually needed to justify the crunch with the Works Council and get it approved and all this other stuff. The problem that I saw with the Works Council was the same problem. Like my dad he got out of the army after 20 years and wound up working at a paper mill. And, he was a union guy and all of that stuff. And so it's the same thing. There are really decent benefits or upsides to that type of thing. On the flip side, then it wound up being very political and the usual sort of shady political shit. And as long as you're on so-and-so's good side, it was easier to not have to like jump through 50 hoops to get some shit done. Whereas, if you're somebody that pissed off that individual or those individuals on the Works Council, all of a sudden it became like impossible to fire somebody and stuff like, well, you can't fire a specific person. I mean, if it's justified and, it's something that's kind of, does he not want those items? No, this would be interesting. Yeah, then it actually hurts the team more than benefits it. So, I don't know, man. All right, so Jawbone. Oh, wait, because I had to sort of do some goofy stuff with this to make it work. So Beth Hester said, but yeah, the employees having some leadership in the company was an interesting departure. Management being like, why wouldn't they? We want to make the best pencils and make the most money, of course. What they think matters. Yeah, I mean, there's Jocko, what Extreme. So yeah, there's a book called Extreme Ownership from this guy Jocko Willink. I mean, he gets into that as well. He was a Navy SEAL for what, 20 years, the entirety of his career or whatever. And again, the more you've actually got your team engaged and feeling like they're, they have ownership, the better. So. I don't know, Keith, Pattis, what do you think? I think our team is in a position where folks have ownership of, their stuff and have a ton of say or whatever. At the end of the day, I still think that teams benefit from having as the scholarly W once said, a decider. So I'd like to think that we have a nice mix of people, people having ownership, and then, just having a kind and wonderful, handsome and humble dictator type, which I volunteered myself to be. To ultimately say, those of you that are new here, that's me trying to be funny. I've got very dry delivery. I'm gonna pretend like you're German, and I'm gonna call you Ein, Av, 23, ABC. Hallo, wie geht's? Stay at home, Brad, 77. Yeah, we already have more than one chat box. It just doesn't look like it. I can make infinite chat boxes, I think. I can't scale them at the moment, though, so that's why I don't. Pat has said, I would agree. I also think we do a good job of offering and listening to suggestions from team members in different areas of games development. Yeah, so we're small enough, and this is one of the huge benefits of keeping the team as small as we can. Or if we do scaling it as slowly as possible. We don't have like a little tech bubble over there and an art bubble over here or whatever. People, everything's discussed in all of our different Slack channels, and anybody can say whatever. But people do own their areas, and then at the end of the day, I'll be honest, if I and I always feel, a slight bit of discomfort saying it this way, but whatever, it is what it is. If I feel like somebody's like overstepping in an area, or, they're kind of hitting what T-Con just said. If we're starting to get a little too many cooks in the kitchen or whatever, then I feel it's my part, like it's my job to grab that and rein it in. And sometimes it's like just hitting somebody up in DMs and being like, and then on the flip side, it's also, if I feel like somebody's maybe overstepping, but not in a way where it's like it needs to get shut down, I might hit somebody up in DMs that's like the oversteppy and just be like, hey, I noticed this. How do you feel about it? And then, if somebody's like, oh man, it did kind of like hurt my feelings a bit or whatever, then it's easy for me to be like, all right, let's initiate some conversation between the parties in a way where it's not weird and shit is good, and hopefully we actually learn even more about each other, and then we can drive forward. So, he like hello, E like hey, or so would that Y like in hey, so that'd be hey in the nav. So that would be, it would be like, would that be, oh, well, hello, yeah. Would that be, hey, nav? Hey, nav. You have to tell me. I don't really don't get an opportunity to speak much Hebrew. So that'll be an interesting one to learn. T-Con. All right, don't let me forget. Once you're in game, then we'll duel. Dude, I can't speak today. I've even had my half a cup of coffee, so apologies. If you're watching this on the VOD, skip ahead a few times and see if I get my shit together, and if not, then if not, yeah, skip this one. Joshua-ish? Thank you for the follow. He said I can edit the syllables together to be coherent. It'll just sound like a, I don't know, it'll be like a weird remix video. Yeah, it'll be like one of those videos where someone's singing. It's like an Obama song where it's just taking each one of the, or Trump or whoever your favorite rapper is, each one of the words they say to make a song. That'll be Keith's next video from this VOD. Belfaster said, we need to make sure we get some techie M&M superfans near the dev team members to help keep their systems up and running. Like this sketchy Grandmeister and Game of Thrones. The work must continue. Also, I don't like the predatory nature of the PC repair business. It's just as bad as finding a good mechanic that isn't full of it. For some reason, that seems like a non sequitur. So my pronunciation was close enough. I've already forgotten it. I'm just gonna say hey Nev. Hey Nev. I don't speak Hebrew, but I did own some Modest Yahoo CDs. So T-Con says, I'm next to you, hanging in the doorway. 1v1 bro? No. All right. Yes, YouTube, I'm still listening to that. All right, so let me fix this dude's quest real quick. Yeah, the UI, there'll be more. There will be more. There'll be modifications, there'll be more. I think I said last time, this class symbols placeholder, we're going to have 3D animated class symbols because we really like the way they look. We saw them in some game one time, and they seem really cool. So we'll do it that way. We've got some neat looking experience bubbles that you would have seen if you check out our updates from the newsletter. That will replace these at some point. So experience bubbles there. This 2D poorly cropped, very poorly. Look at his poor thumb foot. Poorly cropped guy here will be 3D, and we'll see if we like that. And if not, then we'll change it. Backgrounds. Excuse me. Backgrounds. We've got a number of different backgrounds to swap. And for texture style, a lot of work will be going on. Getting our icons up, the various tabs, the ability to customize and modify the UI per the video on the newsletter, all that. Yeah, so there's a bunch that'll be going on here. Good job. Team on feedback, and Goblin on art, and John on implementation. I think it's mainly been John. So do you still like having the player model in the center? So I think the thoughts I expressed the other day in Slack on this are what they are, which is I like 3D paper doll if I tend to be in first person. If I'm in third person, then I kind of find it redundant. Then we'd have to have the question of, is a paper doll on a background, or is this a 3D view where I'm now able to see behind me? Because that's kind of neat if I'm in first person and I can quickly check behind me using it. I don't know. So I guess we just need to play with it and see. what the team feels and all that. Oh, I added in some textures for cloth, for our cloth armor. So I meant to respond to Nick's screenshots and be like, if people don't like the colors or whatever, and by people I mean the team, the rest of you in chat, you just keep it to yourself. If the team doesn't like the colors, then we can modify them. I just wanted to have something. After like putting on cloth pants and still being in my underwear, I felt like we needed to. There was that big anticlimactic moment on the last stream where it's like I was running around in a badass tunic and no pants for the whole stream, and then I finally found some cloth pants on a skeleton and I put them on and they didn't appear, and I was like, well, that's a bummer. T-Con said, I was thinking a stone cut of your face in the center of the character to show you dropping your gear on that. Dropping gear on a statue or a relief of your face. It's an idea. If you do a 3D model that is also animated, you would need to use rendered textures, and you need a separate dedicated camera to point at the model. Then comes in a choice of where you want to be. Choice where you want to be the same model as a character, which moves, or an idle model that's a copy. Yeah, Dram, there's all sorts of stuff that I'm excited that the tech guys will have to just make it happen magically. I guess you're gonna have to code guards to attack streakers in a city. I still think it's a thing. Josh? Did I thank you for the follow? I think I did. Anyways, Josh, the idea was going to be when you die, you come back wearing like a no stats shroud. So it's just like a brown robe. That way you're not naked. But if you decide to take your robe off and you're bound at the gates, then they'll warn you and then they will clobber you. Very UO. Yes, it was Ollie's idea because Ollie's a big UO dude. Hey, what's up, Shawn? Yeah, it's been moving. It's been moving. There's still lots of bugs and stuff like this guy's face. Sorry, but your face is a bug. But it's coming along. Hextana? Cool. I'm glad you did Worlds of Empire. Billy Corgan, or maybe what was his name? He was really hot, like literally hot for a while. He was like the go-to sexy guy in a couple of Red Shoe Diaries back in the day. Or Billy Zane? Yes, Billy Zane. We said it at the same time. Got a little Billy Zane in him. Yeah, he was in all that HBO shit, and then he was the Phantom. That was pretty dope. So 1 hour ago, when I started the stream, I was going to fix this guy's quest really quick to check it, and I've just been babbling ever since. But for those of you that are here to learn about game development, this is what it's like. It's like me babbling for 3 hours. That's, in my experience, what game development is like. But hey, we still get shit done. As Shawn just said, Red Shoe Diaries references in Eminem confirmed. So we're going to try to keep overt references to a bare minimum, if at all. I was just talking to Hamad about this. It's like, do we, and even little things like in dialogue, I pick up on a thing. I'd be, that's a little too modern, right? For example, and this isn't picking on it, but we talked about it. Was like, there's like talking about, if you happen to get caught on fire because of this event or whatever, stop, drop, and roll, right? And like as soon as I saw, I was like, that's too modern. That's just that may pull people out. But if there's a take on that we can use, and good. So there's inevitably going to be shit that you're going to notice that's a reference to real world, or real mythology or real whatever. I think that's acceptable, especially since we're trying to be kind of old school and like pen and paper tabletop kind of way. There are definitely references and little homages and stuff built in, but we want to make it to our universe as much as possible. WoW went overboard with references for your taste. You gotta realize when I first started playing WoW and was seeing all the references, as a fan and a designer, I was so jealous that they got to do all that shit. I was like, oh my god, that's so good. And yeah, but then there's just so much of it. Someone asked how much reference to drugs, alcohol there would be. Don't know if I remember that. I do remember that. And not picking on them at all, but they were very, very like adamant that we couldn't have it. I'm like, it's a high fantasy game based on like classic lore and shit. There's inevitably going to be alcohol references. We've already got alcohol in the game. There'll be alcohol references. There will be drug references. There'll be in-game drugs. There won't be like a crystal meth factory or something in a corner of town, but there will be in-game alcohol. Obviously, there will be in-game drugs. I mean, we're not going to be silly about it or whatever. There's the lore I was reading. Hamad just sent over stuff for the Rogues Guild, the Rogues faction, and there's some character backgrounds that are pretty dark. There will be allusions to that kind of stuff as well. I mean, we're not making a game for little kids. A wee gnome grinding some pixie dust in his basement. Halflings will have pipes. I think that is a fair point. Deep dwarves are stoned. It's true. VGFX, did the Sarnax have their own drug business going? The TLP Chardock is version 2, right? I know there's an accountant in there and some other bureaucrat, which I thought I added. I didn't think they were in. The hallucinators, harvester, and herb sniffing dogs. And there's an accountant and stuff around the bank. Yeah, I think that was all stuff I added in version 2. So yeah, I guess I have a history of adding drug syndicates to fantasy games. So that answers your question. Because if they weren't in version 1, then that's all stuff I made up in the 2 days that we had to implement that zone. That was a humble brag. So Belfester said, after watching Dude enjoying it and the Boba Fett series, do you think there's a place for some pretend underground drug trade, something kidney spice? Yep. Someone pull up the Pony MMORPG. How many drugs were in that? I did nothing with it. I was not allowed near the content for that. Still slowly working on this, fixing this quest. Honestly, it's hard to see. There's a spice merchant right there. I've already added a spice merchant. Poor Snip. Damn it, Elrond, where are you? Let me fix you. Elrond. Where are we? Okay. How is Sweden doing, Shawn? Are you still at that same company? Schneck. Bang. Are you there now working? Are you working from home? You moved to Tokaboka. Oh, cool. Work from home? Nice. You should have guards occasionally roll up on the shifty known, pat them down, look for contraband. There'll also be different people rolling around, patting people down and shaking people down, and oh man, I can't wait to get cranking on some of the new stuff that just came in. We'll spend some time with Ham talking through some of it and work on getting some of that stuff implemented on top of the class quest stuff that we're doing right now. All right, so let me repop and see if I fixed it. It works so slowly when I'm streaming. That's why I mean it's so much easier just to default to playtests when streaming. So hard for me to talk and work. I may experiment with something in a few minutes. Okay, it works now. Good job, Gary. Will there be brothels? I don't know if there will be any actual active brothels. Maybe. There will definitely be references to brothels. Have one of the guards act like Vic Mackey from The Shield. Guard Mackey. So there may be a reference to something like that, right? But again, trying not to be super overt. All right, I need to fix these guys. Nick's mentioned them a couple times. It should be easy enough to fix. Let me go to NPCs. Will it work on Linux too? Because Unity has the build option. Deku, it's a good question for Ollie. I know it's come up before. I think Ollie wants to support as much as possible, just by nature of the way Ollie thinks. So I forget what he said on this before. If you're not in our Discord, sometimes I can't give a good answer. I'll give a bullshit answer or something like that. Please get on our Discord. You can ask those types of questions, or you can search. And we've answered so many different questions in detail on Discord outside of this, so you might be able to find it there. Also, check out our mailing list, all of you. We're coming up on 2,000 people on the mailing list. So second year anniversary of this month, and 2,000 people. Seems like if you can help us hit 2,000 on the mailing list, that would be dope. We are at 1,977 subscribers on the mailing list. You'll need a fence to sell contraband items. We have a fence that is going in shortly. I was just transcribing his information from the new write-up that Ham did. We definitely have a fence. And so it's interesting because the way our merchants work, it'll actually be helpful, because like if I try to sell certain types of items to certain types of merchants, they just won't buy them. They're not into it. And yeah, we may iterate on the system later and have it give you a little bit more information, where there's a chance where if I go to this guy and I try to sell him like some cloth pants, which these are. Oh no, these are rawhide leggings. What am I wearing? What do these look like? Oh, okay. Then he may tell you like what type of merchant, or say like, hey, you know, maybe someone that buys cloth would like that or whatever. Or he may say merchant so-and-so may like that. So maybe that merchant would be interested in clothes because he's naked. I see what you're saying. Let's fix that. Let's see if we can fix it. NH. First aid trainer. Here, we'll do this. ID name. Yeah. And maybe class, and then Make sure 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that should cover us. Then go back to Night Harbor. Yeah, because some of these NPCs are using the old method. That guy should be good. And then that guy's good. So, and class isn't what I was looking for, actually. So if we look at this, what is this guy? Ranger? Spell Merchant? All right. We'll just copy that over. Like so. Come here. Boom. Repop. Cool. Now he looks a lot less weird, but also still pretty generic. I know why they don't have clothes. Because they don't have an NH prefix. Because these were all carried over from the Shaded Dune days. Yeah, so let's look for a spell. Cool. And now we'll fix all of these guys. And maybe more. Could you make me a wee angry dwarf who just hides in his shop and buys everything for 50% less than normal prices? I could do that, Shawn. I have that ability. I wish people could hear your voice right now. Shawn's got a wonderful Scottish accent. You are Scottish, right? I'm American, so to me, all foreigners sound Scottish. I'm kidding. You could voice the dude too. We don't have any VO. He would be the only NPC with VO. The Scottish accent is amazing. The Scottish accent actually has so much value, I think, in terms of like being able to convince people of stuff. In my opinion, the Scottish accent is like the ultimate bullshitter's accent. Anytime I listen to like a Scottish person could tell any story, and it's going to sound fantastic. It's going to, you're immediately going to be enthralled. All of the Scottish dudes I've known are just amazing storytellers, and I don't even know if the story's that good. It's just something about the accent. Shawn, what are you playing these days? Let's go to the bank. Total War Warhammer 3. Are you playing with other people? It seems like it seemed to me like most games you played were multiplayer or social in nature. I'll check on these guys, make sure they're no longer all sort of gray and weird. Pattis, I'm assuming this isn't the final. Is this the final, in air quotes, final placement of the inn? All right, Shawn, enjoy your meeting. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday, and by every I mean often, but not every, because you know I go out of town and stuff. But if that is the final placement, the only thing I would mention is accessibility directionally. I still, for whatever reason, I was still picturing, like, we've got the courtyard in the back now. For some reason, when you mentioned moving everything forward, I thought the courtyard would be up front. I don't know if that's important or not, but something about coming in the gates. Something about being able to kind of come in the gates, either one of these gates, and kind of then veer over. And so I was picturing like maybe sort of a common area or courtyard here. And then facing middle. Because right now if I come in the other side, I gotta run all the way around it. So that's the only thing I was thinking with it here. I just noticed it on Tuesday, but I also knew you were doing a lot of changing. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, you tell me what you think. If having it rotated counterclockwise 90 so that the entrance is kind of like here, if that's too generic feeling, right? You know, let me know. But it does make it a bit more accessible, sort of immediately. For some, I don't know, for some reason, having that whole side, like this much of it just kind of be blocked out, be inaccessible. It feels weird to me. And then this stable things now kind of cramped. It's kind of more in an alley or whatever. So it feels like if we're going to continue to use it for that, which I don't know that we need to, but it's already there at the moment, then I'd give it a little bit more breathing room. Because I mean, you've got space here. And I do think having this sort of courtyard type thing available up front makes sense. I mean, the end's pretty big. But having it there, because then if we do some like in tavern specific functionality, like we had talked about some of our LFG stuff being linked into being in an inn area or a tavern area, like special channels or special tools or special buffs or whatever, then we would have that volume pulled over, and we would also give it a bit more space because there'd be potentially a lot of players there. Pazzy said, if this was real world area, the cramped corridor looks like something that would immediately become a marketplace, hang some coverings and throw in some stalls. Yeah, so if as we go, you'll see Pattis already has some stuff like that over there. We'll probably be doing like a cozy pass of just like having more and more of the sprawl start to have that stuff over it to give it that second layer, that bit of texture when it comes to verticality. And then we'll also have like the different, you know, secret boards and jumps and all this other stuff to you know, move along different rooftops. We had some of that in the old build. Oh, by the way, I don't think I heard a doorbell. I may hop up at some point, and I should have a delivery coming in today, so I'll hop up and grab that if I hear the doorbell. So maybe flipping the geo so that second entrance in the tavern on the western facing side. Yeah. I think any number of solutions will work. Additional entrance would work as well. I didn't want to suggest it because I didn't know how much you wanted to go back in and rework geo and stuff. So, Pazzy also said earlier, storytelling has been ingrained in me since I was a kid growing up in Glasgow. Glasgow. What? Dude, I cannot speak today. Glasgow. Don't start meeping at me, dog. No. I'll send you to bed. Even other kids would say stuff like your patter is weak if the total story or information badly. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it kind of reminds me of, I went to high school in Alabama, like southeast Alabama, and like shit talk was just, it was a currency. You had to be able to talk shit. What's the most amount of mobs you've aggroed and kited around so far? Just to stress test it? Me? Not many. Nick? Every mob in the zone, if I had to guess. Multiple times. He's done like insane AoE fears and other stuff to just stress test things, so no need to worry there, Turnip. Nick is a master at... Hell, one of the first videos I ever saw of Nick was him in an early Pantheon playtest. At the end of the playtest, aggroing like everything up in the tower and stuff, and then running along a wall and jumping down and training the entire zone. He's got a knack for it. Smack talk is a required second language in the South, for sure. What's up, Nicodemus? Not hard to get up this morning. I was supposed to get up and go running with Jasmine this morning, and woke up at like 1 to go take a leak, and I always like that because I look and I'm like, okay, we still got like 4.5 hours of sleep, so that was exciting. Woke up at 5, so like 15 or 30 minutes before the alarm was going to go off. Went running with her on Tuesday, and that was great. And I was just like, oh man, shit. I really wish I hadn't woken up 30 minutes before the alarm. And then, I don't know what happened, but she decided she wasn't going to go running this morning. So I was amped when I woke up at like 6. Divin to Zone is still one of my favorite or greatest MMO experiences. Hex, yeah, I mean, that's why zone lines are so much fun. It's, I don't know, trains are like an integral part of this type of game. Exactly, Turnip. These guys have clothes as well. Okay, so I think I've fixed the sketchy white NPC. Dude, what is wrong with me today? NPC problem. So Nick had just mentioned it. It should be fixed. I think we're good. Oh, it's gonna be rad once they get animated. No, that's not rad. That's scary. We gotta. Oh man, I wonder if the ears are gonna be rigged. I hope their ears are rigged so that we can animate the ears as well. All right. So we've checked to see the quest turn-ins work. They do. That's awesome. We fixed the quest that had the quest turn-in. So that's good. Oh, I know what I want to go do. I want to go experiment with this interactive object and see if the item requirements are actually working. So I'm going to go do that real quick. Nicodemus! Thank you for your kindness and generosity. 5 community gift subs. Dram, Keebs, Mick, Orangequake, Pneumatic. Congrats. Josh, it's just a desert city on a coast. No overt references to anything. Mildly inspired, perhaps. Uncle Wawa, thank you for the follow. Happy to have you here. Oh yeah, let's see. Are there different attack items now? Is that a new attack item? Is that a new attack item or the old one I did? It looks like the old one I did. Orangequake said, well, that interrupted my lurking. Thank you for the gifted subscription. Someone else mentioned something earlier and I wanted to respond and I totally forgot and I apologize. Because it was a nice comment. Where was it? I'm going to scroll up. It was like way earlier, but that just reminded me of it. Damn it. I'm scrolling up right now in chat. I can't find it now. That's a shame. Here it is. It was from Josh. Joshwish. Lurked on your channel before, but never saw the M&M stuff. As an EQ vet, this looks so comfy. I'll be watching. Oh. Badass. Yeah, if you haven't seen the game before, definitely check out the website. Join our mailing list. Like I said, we consider September as kind of the second anniversary of us getting this thing started. And the first anniversary of reaching out and asking for more team members and like over doubling the size of our team this last year. So big year. So September be a great time for us to hit 2,000 people on the mailing list, which we're 33 people away. No, 23 people away. And join us in Discord as well. All right. I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna turn off aggro. And I'm going to look here. All right. So let me look at how this is set up. It's not point of interest. Mode action. Okay. Okay, so the prompt's only requirement is to say stone at the moment. So let's add to that item charcoal. Have a good lecture. Talk to you in a bit, Pattis. My dog just got up and ran, so I'm like, was there a doorbell? All right, I'm only gonna use the one earbud for the rest of the stream. We'll see. All right, so we got this. Let's repop the zone. Nolan's research. I've got the feeling I died and didn't loot a bag or my bags or something like that. We'll destroy this. We'll destroy this. What's this? We'll destroy this. And these. Hey, well below average. I always forget how early it is for all of you. Or most of you. People still rolling out of bed. I feel like I've watched you stream P99 a couple times. I'll sign up for a newsletter now. Thank you for that. Yeah. I used to... I mean, the stream basically started as me streaming EQTLP on Aerodune and then P99. Yeah, Nicodemus. Losing the capsule, folks, is a bummer. But Goblin actually made a really interesting capsule model. It was like a armor. It was like an Ironworks sort of version of a capsule that is a model in game already. But yeah. Went to the Ghost Mastodon show last night. Lost my voice. I now have a nice excuse to be quiet in meetings. I bet that was a fun one. The capsule elder gods. I love it. Alright, so I've repopped. Look. Alright. There's a stone. Let's say inspect. Stone. So that worked despite me not having the item on me. Because I don't have it on me unless I've got it hidden somewhere. SE2, thank you for 4 months. How are you? Alright, so let's look at this again in the DB. I'll move this kind of out of the way. I'll move this to my second monitor. Wonder what happens if I take the prompt out. It shouldn't work at all. Slash repop. Look. Inspect stone. I see nothing out of the ordinary. Okay. Now. Stone. Charcoal. I don't have charcoal. Repop. I think this may just be a bug then. Inspect stone, then work, despite not having charcoal. Okay. So either... I mean, that prompt is pretty straightforward. It should require item charcoal in inventory. So we need to do a little bit of work on this system anyways. So that's fine. But I need to write that up when I get done here. items and /use. So we'll keep inspect. We'll need it. And then we'll also add a use that'll be a bit more complex. Because it would be nice to be able to set it up. Because essentially it's the same thing that we're doing with NPC dialogues, right? It's just an extension of the dialogue system. So the dialogue system similar to this in that it's looking for you to prompt the interaction by either turning in an item, right? So here, turning in this specific item, or using a keyword, or now that we've got it fixed, turning in multiple items. Ooh, this reminds me, Keith was working on something. I want to look at it. So it wasn't, oh, I need to get in here and use the mass calculator to fix the items I put in before. Let me bring up Slack so that I can see exactly what Keith was saying. It was in a tooling channel. Database, faction editor. Server errors should maybe give you a short description besides ID would be helpful. I think that's fair. Programmer types, take note. Database. Ah, there it is. Nice. All right, it's the first one. What you're about to see here, you know what? I'm going to make it small to make it as to tempt you guys as little as possible. Looking. I will just say, if any of you are being nosy, here we go. I'll make it that small. If any of you are being nosy, keep in mind all of the factions that you may have just seen, or factions that you're currently seeing, or factions that you may see in the future are all placeholder, and a lot of it's old lore that we're rewriting. So there. Don't think you saw any secrets. But Shawn, of course you would say that. I'll have to write something up on this. Keith, if you're still in here, is the plan to bring the other faction information into this page as well on the editor? Hey, Datham. Development is going good. How are you? Let me see if I can find a... So essentially, Keith, if you're watching this or watching it later, it would be, so if I'm looking at the Night Harbor faction, then it would allow me to basically, long story short, the faction effect, and the faction relationship, all in one editor page. Because I think the same thing when we look at some of the other stuff like items with item effect, item procs, and the ability. Oh, there's the doorbell. I'll be right back, guys. Ooh. There may be more. Been ordering a lot of shit. Turrican! How's it going? What'd I get us? A bunch of silly prepper stuff. Got some decent walkie-talkies. I think the other one should be a hand-cranked powered radio. I'm pretty sure this is not how this box was meant to be opened. Yeah, little hand crank radio. Oh, my other crap came in too. You guys can see just how nuts I am. Some more toys to build out a little IFAC individual first aid kit. Israeli trauma dressings, tourniquets, scissors, stuff I was missing. You know, just normal stuff that you need to have. We might be watching an unstable person, Turnip said. You're just now picking up on that? You guys good on fuel over the winter? Have a fireplace? Gas conflict? With gas conflict next door? Yeah, we're good. We've got a nice... I would like to have more, but a nice stockpile of firewood. So we got basically February. I was like, hey, you realize we get like all of our fuel from the country that just invaded the other country right there, right? Let's go ahead and stock up on firewood. So we've got a garage full of firewood. Not full, I mean, we've got an okay amount of firewood. We do have a fireplace. We've got more firewood up at the garden that one of our garden neighbors has provided us. Because he's clearing out his dad's house. His dad died like 2 months ago, and so he had like a big estate. So he's been hauling in some of their firewood and stuff because I told him that I would take any that they had off their hands, and in return I make him smoked pulled pork in my smoker at the garden. So that's what I'm gonna be doing Saturday. Is I'm gonna get up early and smoking some big old pork shoulders for barbecue that the garden community is having later. Let us know when you get to the stockpiling 6 months worth of dried bean stage. Okay, we're there. I was right before the stream. I was busy building some shelves. Yeah, so we just got some new shelves in for all of our various cans and stuff. Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, people, I don't want to go too far down, you know, too far into the topic because I know it can, whatever, trigger some people or lead to some other discussions that I don't want to have. We don't talk politics or very many social events or issues on stream, or in Discord, but it is, I mean, the reality is that you know, the German government's even come out and said, hey, you guys should be prepared this winter. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Absolutely. And I've been that way about things kind of at least the last 15 or no, longer than that. Because like when I lived in Austin, my house had solar with a nice battery bank. We picked the house specifically to be near the river, but up on a hill, out in hill country. There are deer everywhere. I had a little garden, all of that stuff. So I've always been this way. Big ass pantry. I was in an American house, right? Like one of those Texas houses with big ass pantry and stuff like that. So, yeah. People can think what they want, but I've always felt like, you know, my responsibility starts with like me and my family, which in this case got a pretty simple family here. It's Jasmine, it's my puppy, and then sort of radiates out from there. And at the end of the day, the only person that can really be responsible for you is kind of you. That's where the accountability sort of starts. And if there's a situation where, you know, there's a worst case scenario this winter, especially where there are power outages, which again, I'm not, there's nothing wild about me saying that. And our government's saying we should be prepared for that here in Germany. We just watched a documentary on like one of the main German channels where they're talking about it, and just the reality of it. Yeah, it could be we get through this winter, spring comes and everybody overreacted and it wasn't that big a deal. But we've got factories that are scaling down at the moment. We've got you know, a lot of various emergency plans depending on the municipality that you're in or whatever being discussed. So my thoughts always, if the government's being this open about their concerns, then what aren't they telling you? And I don't say that as like just because I'm a wacky conspiracy theorist, but I mean, hell, man, you've watched Morgan Freeman as president. You know, you've seen Deep Impact and all the other movies, or Contagion or anything else. I've worked for the government. And I worked for the government while I was in DC. I worked at for a little bit after I had surgery. I worked at an emergency operations center there. I won't get any more specific than that. And yeah, part of what we're there for is to keep an eye on things, and if things turn into bigger things, then that's that would basically be sort of a central area for addressing or command and control in those situations. And trust me, the government's typically worried about a lot more shit than we ever hear about. And we're just fortunate that it doesn't turn into the thing that it could. And so, yeah, having had those experiences, and I mean, my family's Southern, all that type of stuff. Yeah, there's no way that I'm not taking the potential for things to get weird this winter pretty seriously. And not just this winter. I mean, this is what we're seeing. I think we're seeing the surfacing of events that have been a long time coming. Our economy and everything else is, and I say that sort of globally, there's a lot at the moment that's just too fragile. So if the worst thing that happens is I've got too many beans, and you know, spent a little too much time learning about, you know, how to triage certain medical situations and blah blah blah. All right, well, I could think of worse things to spend my money and time on, but yeah. Practical is reasonable. World's a crazy place. We all have to look out for ourselves and each other. Exactly. Nicodemus said, yes, sir. You're 100% responsible for your own survival. I never trust anyone with my own personal safety. Always have a plan. It never hurts to have a plan. All right, so the next quest... Hey, what's up, Goblin? The next quest series will actually be involving this gentleman up here. Let's go look at him and see if we like where he's at. I like my other pants better. But I deleted them. Oh, man. Let me see. You're pooped. Did you just wake up? What's up, Chad? Because you were just drawing something. So I'm assuming... Wait, I'm assuming you haven't been to bed, actually. Are you going to stream the thing that you're currently working on? Yeah, that's what I thought. I said drawing, but I guess I should have said painting. Sorry about that. Eventually later today, probably. Keep an eye out for Goblin's stream then. The thing that Goblin's working on is pretty badass. Why are you standing there? Let's see what's going on with this guy. Yeah, so you'll definitely want to see. Here, okay, I'll show you what Goblin's been working on. It's just so badass I didn't want to steal your thunder. Oh, looks like you've... This is a revision. Damn, monotonous. Exactly. That's the way I felt when I saw version 1. I was like, damn. She's actually this Dracolich, she's actually a pretty cool character. We're going to need a bigger sword. Yeah. Indeedy. Hey, Kimmery. Yeah, I mean... I get so amped on this kind of stuff. She doesn't seem that evil. I don't know. She may not be all bad. You went with Shadow Knight, Necromancer, and Druid as a party. Can be revised, but we have a little skeleton minion. Make it into... Oh, I see him now. What's that, little halfling druid? Oh, I'm so amped on this. So excited. I meant to mention it in Slack, Goblin. But what do you think about having and I can follow up with sort of details, but if you read her background, maybe a little shackle. Somewhere. Maybe on this leg. Shackle. I can see wings of cobwebs flowing from where once there was leathery wings. Yep. Will you need to learn her language to talk to her? I would think that she'll be able to speak your language. She's pretty smart. Okay, so this guy's still here, so he is broken. Oh, right on, Goblin. Goblin said, I also want to do some theming on the architecture to really sell the place in this concept. Nice. What's up, John? She might speak telepathically, which wouldn't require language. I hadn't really considered that. See what's going on with this guy. I need to mention to the team, unrelated, but kinda. Oh, there's a whole thread that I missed on this. Oh. Yeah, I'll have to catch up on your discussion. You guys are having some good talk in there. Absolutely. Thanks for letting me show it off, Goblin. This is badass. Okay, you should definitely get some sleep. Yoran said, I like how in EQ2 you have to do quests to understand certain races. I think that's good as well. I feel like EQ1 languages were underutilized, so we'll definitely be playing with that. But it's something that we can address in a later pass. All right, so I'm curious why this guy's stuck over here. I wonder if an undead dragon would still retain a desire for worldly treasures. Or would it be like the undead Pirates of the Caribbean, when they have just a longing for earthly delights? Yeah, with her in particular, I think you'll find she's got motivations that are definitely different than a lot of her ilk. So with languages, it's bound to be a bigger topic for us because we still want to set up certain races, both as factions or different factions within the races, as factions that you can actually progress with, and then get some benefits in terms of accessing their accessing their lair as you would other cities or locations, right? So we talked a bit about like air quotes monster cities in the past. Excuse me. And I think the example we use, because most of you know EQ, is oh, interesting, is the idea of Runny Eye. So imagine if you could faction up with the Runny Eye Goblins more, or Split Paw, or any of the dungeons, to be honest. If you could faction up with them and get access to merchants, new quest NPCs, and the merchants may have things that you just can't get anywhere else. Quest NPCs, you could bank there. Do a number of things that either based on their location may be ultra convenient to you, or it's just you're one of the folks that really likes all of the lore and the completionist aspects of it. So you're digging around to find something interesting. So, and it kind of taps into, in Velius, I think there's a better utilization of that, but not completely. When you look at like Kale and Thurgoden and Sky Shrine, so. Always wanted to gain faction with places like Mistmore. Yeah, so it'd be stuff like that. I don't think we're going to be able to do everything all the time, always, but it's something that we're interested enough in doing that there'll definitely be some passes where we probably revise some content, maybe adjust some factions, maybe adjust a dungeon or something to work better with that concept. So we'll just kind of... What happens if I do this? So yeah, but we're doing this stuff in kind of layers, and it's something that isn't absolutely necessary for us to get people in and playing. And so our big focus right now is getting in the base layer of content and the core functionality needed, and then all of the additional stuff like client-specific security and all of that to get people in and you know, play with this in some manner. I don't want to overpromise or be too specific, but essentially we want to hit our I don't think we made a promise, but we want to hit on getting people in, because we said we really wanted to get people in with us this year, and we're not super far off. So that's our focus. And then once that's happened, that'll be cool. Check. And then we'll be looking at continuing to flesh out all of the functionality in POC, or proof of concept, and then push the proof of concept more and more and more, while also basically working to move into the like content scaling phase of things. Okay, so that's what's happening. NPC was, for whatever reason, I guess I could look at the nav mesh or something there. He was running into the other NPC and it was pushing him up onto the wall as opposed to over there. Interesting to see that. Excuse me. With gaining faction, will there be limits, prohibited combos? For example, goodly god aligned cleric could never gain positive faction with evil aligned places. So one of the other things that we've got to work on, but is definitely part of our intent, is to make it so that if you start as a goodly aligned cleric and you decide that you want to, for whatever reason, gain faction with that evil faction, you can switch gods. So gods will function similar to factions. but there will be limits. Essentially, there will be combos that just don't work, right? So yeah. And the god part of it is something we need to flesh out more as we go. But the sort of core underlying system. See you, Turkan. The core underlying system is it's at a minimum will be a faction system. So it's not like it's completely, it's not rocket surgery or anything that we're you know, reinventing some crazy wheel or whatever for. Get position, save. All right, so that should be a little cleaner. All right, so the next quest series will involve this guy. We got the fighter stuff in. And next will be Foss Dune Strider. Does that look like... let's move him up a little bit. And he is the Ranger guild leader. And the archers, rangers, and fighters are a little different in that they all fall under one umbrella, faction-wise. In Night Harbor, at least. Other places it will differ. But for Night Harbor, they all fall under one faction. And that is the Steel Talon faction. And this guy over here is somebody you'll meet early on. Oh my gosh, I'm lost because I'm flying through walls. So here. This guy. Not that guy. Still clicking on the wrong guy. Damn it. This guy. Nope. This guy. Nope. Still a watchman. This guy. Alright. Thadamius Steel. And it's basically... And I'm not ruining... It's not a spoiler. You'll see it in the quest. You've probably already seen it in the quest text if you've been paying attention to me running through the quest that was just implemented. They've got a academy here that trains archers, rangers, and fighters who then can move on to either be private in their operations, adventurers or whatever, or they can work with the primary defense factions here in Night Harbor, of which you'll meet two. Quest is to free Foss from his green ball prison. Yes. And so I think there's a lot of different faction stuff going on here, a lot of competing factions, and we've approached our factions in that they are... Oh, I won't be able to pronounce that properly because I'm not good at French, but is it Jeu d'Esprit? Something like that? Thank you for the follow. So anyways, we've got our class factions, which you'll be able to progress with, and there's some really interesting characters, a lot of detail being added in their backgrounds and motivations, and internal factional, sort of interfactional conflict and things of that nature. Night Harbor is kind of a borderline gray, shady place. So it allows for a lot of interesting conflicts, both between the factions and within factions. A lot of self-motivated characters here. And it's good for us because we're going to have people that may want to be more evil, people that want to be more good or whatever. Starting here since it's a proof of concept city. But the class factions then sort of provide a progression and a way of learning about the various characters in the city and working through their motivations. But then there's also a lot of what we've been calling essentially like narrative factions, which are on top of that, which then like the Night Harbor Guard, or you'll run into the Red Mantles, which the Red Mantles work specifically for the Langsdorfian League, which runs the city. They're a very, very powerful sort of global trade organization. And so the Red Mantles have a job that's similar to the Night Harbor Guard, but they're not the same faction. So as you can imagine, there's probably some conflict and intrigue there. And I mean, that's only one of, like, honestly, a ton of little factions within this one city. So yeah, we want to see if we can figure out a way to make them all interesting and compelling without breaking the bank, and really focus on simple storytelling mechanisms that leverage our simple core loop. Our gameplay is pretty straightforward, but then using that to, over time, give you a sense of progression and the ability to unlock more of that narrative. So yeah. Penny Plays Games, thank you for the follow. Who runs a part of town? Shady Gnome runs part of town. Sorry, did I call him Shady? Shifty. He is not a swashbuckler. Don't sleep on Wendy's breakfast. It's legit. I haven't had Wendy's in so many years. Just because I don't think there's a Wendy's over here. White Travel said, I probably did 100 quests in EQ. I remember all of them. I did 10,000 quests in WoW. Remember about 100 of them. Yeah. Shady is his brother. His half-brother. You'll never stop reading Shifty Gnome as Shitty Gnome. Poor guy. All right, so let me do something. I wonder what was up with that bug earlier. I wonder if it's still a thing. I used to hit Wendy's all the time when we had the skate park. It was a nice treat. You could get like the $5, I think it was like a $5 meal. Wendy's fries, burger, Biggie size it, Biggie sweet tea. Let me, oh. Interesting. Let me play this full screen and see if it does this still. Yeah, the Wendy's in my neighborhood where the skate park was, had some friends that worked there growing up. Man, I got addicted to, I don't know what it was, the saltiness. There's just something about their hamburgers. Because they were square too, weren't they? Square patties, and they used more authentic vegetables, and they had those fat fries. When I think when we were on vacation, I thought I saw an ad that showed Wendy's fries were now like everybody else's fries. And not the those fat soft fries. That's a shame. That's a disappointment. Burger King makes the best burgers. I worked at a Burger King. Burger King was my first fast food job when I was a kid. David, it's coming along. This is still early iteration. I think I mentioned earlier in the stream, the class symbols will be modeled and animated. They'll be 3D. We'll be playing around with the actual paper doll in terms of making it 3D and all of that. What's going on there? Ink Yuri, thank you for the follow. What's up, Hells Ridge? Chicken fries from BK are legit also. They used to have this Italian sandwich that was great. I've always lived in bad Burger King areas. They always have consistency issues. Man, when I worked there, we could make ourselves like one burger for our break. On break, we got like one free burger or one free meal. And I would make like a... I forget what was Burger King? Burger King was... What was the name of their big burger? Was it the Whopper? No, is that McDonald's? Whopper. Okay. Yeah. So I would make like a triple cheese barbecue Whopper. It's been so long. But it would just be like 3 patties with layers of cheese, barbecue sauce, bacon. Man. Oh, man. Oh. Worked a morning shift. I would get the biscuits right out of the oven with fresh butter. Morning shift was wild. It was crazy seeing like the transition from morning shift to day shift. So I worked there and I worked at Little Caesars. I can't remember if I worked any other fast food places, but I worked there and I worked Little Caesars for sure. Hey, Code and Caffeine. Thank you, Yuri said. You're very welcome. Glad I found your stream. I'm glad you found us too. Best spicy chicken sandwich, Popeyes for sure. Best fried chicken livers, Church's. I had a friend named Earl when I was in high school. His real name was Columbus, but Earl, he was always working at a different fast food place. And he was just like, Shawn, anytime you need anything, you just come by. Oh, I probably should buff myself. Let's see if we can pull that off real quick. Fizzle. Oh, I'm doomed. I'm being attacked by the new Ashira. The new Ashira model is trying to get me. I have died. I died before the guard could even save me. That is wonderful. Never been to Church's? Would love to try that. I always loved Church's until one time in San Diego I had some Church's and it liquefied my entire innards. My entire body had lived in a bucket for like a day and a half, and then my girlfriend poured it back into my skin, and I have not had Church's since then. But before that, I loved it. Rico Rush said, "Can't wait to play this. You guys are doing such a great job." Well, you said good job, but I added a bit more to it. Thank you. The team is diligently hammering away. Though this new bug's kind of interesting. Oh wow. Let me see if I can Alright, cool. Got this. Got that error. Well, let me copy and paste this real quick. New KFC spicy sandwich is good. Wingstop just came out with one literally yesterday. It's incredible. Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff near me. I've got a KFC on the edge of town here that we keep meaning to stop at, but... I also knew a girl in high school that would always hook us up with fresh Krispy Kreme for free. My friend Earl was so badass, man. I remember one time, I went by wherever he was. I forget where it was. Maybe it was Church's. He's like, "Shawn, what do you want?" And I was just like, "Chicken livers?" And he gave me 2 giant boxes of chicken livers, and we were out skateboarding and eating chicken livers all night. It was disgusting, but also very good. In the South, you have friends with interesting names. I knew a cornbread and a chicken bone in my lifetime. That's when you know they're real country people. Yeah. Knew of a rooster. I met a dude whose real name, he came to our skate park. So we had a little skate park in Alabama when I got out of the army. It had a little indoor skate park. And the dude came and he's wearing and this was late 90s. And he came and he was rocking some jams. I don't know if you remember those from the late 80s, early 90s, jams, shorts. And he was wearing jams and had a badass mullet and this really dope mustache. And his name, he could actually skate really well. His name was Stony Stone. And that was his actual given name on his driver's license. I guess the family name Stone, and his dad was like, "You know what? Stony sounds good." Stony Stone came in and just ripped. You back in the States? No, I went to the States on vacation with my wife. Immediately we got the flu version of COVID. Stayed in a hotel room for 5 days because that was still the guidance, and hopped back on a plane and came back. So not the best vacation. Could have been worse. But we basically just ate Uber Eats and watched US TV for 5 days, and that was my last US experience. I was in Sweden a couple years ago. I'm in Germany now. Stony Stone was destined to be a stoner? Potentially. I don't remember if we spoke on that topic. What's going on, Ronies? What's up, little dog? Sorry, vacation took a better. You know, I've had so many great vacations that to have one be lame like that is fine. Surprise guest, Rune. Wanting mom to come home from work so he can hang out with her. He doesn't really give a shit about me. He loves mom though. That breath, buddy. All right. Log in. Yeah, so I've got two emotes that kind of look like them, but it's actually my previous dog who looked a fair bit like this guy, or vice versa. This guy looks a fair bit like him, but they're both Alaskan Kleekais, so little tiny huskies. Stony Stone needs to be an earth elemental name in game. Started a mage to mess around with on P99 green. Man, if you haven't played EQ on that level in a while, it's pretty damn tough. Died way too much. The only mage I've played in EQ was when we did the level 50 run. We did a 24-hour level 50 run on Aradune, I think. Alright, so I'm back. And let's see if we can do this. Flame Burst. Slot 1. It's paused for some reason. Failed posting event. Scribe spell, so let me post this. And then let me post that. For those of you that don't know what I'm doing, I'm just copying over posting information from my console into our Slack to see if anybody knows what's going on with it, or just to make people aware of it. Delicious Chicken says hi. We've just been talking about Delicious Chicken for the last 30 minutes. Welcome. John said, you may have error pause button clicked in your console, which pauses the game on errors. Oh, shit. Thanks, Shawn. Let me grab the console. Weird. Okay, I probably just did that while randomly clicking around like an idiot. That's gonna save me a lot of grief. Thank you for noticing, John. Delicious Chicken adds a bit of a delicious chicken yourself. Where would you say the most delicious chicken comes from? Fast food wise. So I'm no longer paused, but my game's also now locked up. Bazzing, thank you for the raid. How are you this fine day? I'm gonna quit messing with this character. Maybe. If Unity lets me. And I'm gonna just switch back over to the warrior for the rest of the stream, I think, because we don't have a huge amount of time. I think Unity just said, screw my plans. If you're going to be that way, I'm just going to end that task. All right. Unity, you silly goose. Hey, Justin. Bazzing and Party. Are you familiar with the game? Do you know what we're doing here? In theory doing here? Supposedly doing here? It just stopped. This is our game, Monsters and Memories. Check out our website. Those of you that have just come in the stream in the last little bit, as I mentioned, Our sort of kind of unofficial, but it's the closest approximation that we have to an anniversary is in September. So we'll be coming up on the 2-year mark since we first sort of decided we're going to make a game on stream. And as part of that, we want to get our mailing list to 2,000 people. We're about, I don't know, about 30 people away from that. So that'd be awesome. And let's see, our Discord is right here for those of you that are not familiar with it. Pretty sure I'm making a game. This is... You can now move that to the absolutely sure category. Later today, probably. We'll see. Keep an eye out. If you join the Discord, you'll also be able to see whenever somebody from the team is streaming. And there are about, what, 4 of us? 5 of us? 4 of us that stream at the moment. So join the Discord, keep an eye on it, and then you can go in and check stuff out. Zukin is working on modeling. Player characters, non-player characters, critters. Pattis is doing environment work. And we've got Goblin painting, doing texture work, a bunch of stuff, but right now he's working on a really, really nice painting. Robot, you may want to add .trim to your email submission on the mailing list thing. I put in my email, accidentally had a space at the end of it, and it failed validation. Oh, weird. Yeah, I've just been using MailChimp sort of like generic setup. So I'd have to see if there's some support for that in there. I've got to assume, but you would think that if all they do is mailing lists, they would, they should have that type of stuff on lock, right? Let's see. We have a monthly update that will come out within the next week. So, no, I did not want to enter the world with this person, this character. What about this one? Interworld. So between now and the next stream, next Tuesday. Oh, Holt's looking a little bit not that sharp. So this was the character that I was basically playing through the Fighter Quest series on. And is that why? Oh, that's why the items weren't available. Oh, cool. I can go finish this quest and get my breastplate. Once I stop with cheat mode movement. Where do I even have the cheat mode? There it is. Let me destroy that for now. Ooblies, welcome. Are you... I'm assuming it says first time chat, but I'm assuming you're new here. Check out our website. Does the anniversary date have a name like Founding Day or Genesis Day? You should name it so it can be celebrated in game at some point. Oh, that's a great point. Nicodemus, don't let me forget that. We'll as we go, we'll have to make a bigger deal out of it than I've currently got planned. But I definitely want to do kind of like a retrospective last year versus this year. Because this time last year, everything in game was just capsules and stuff. Completely different zone art. A lot of the systems that we're using today weren't online or were an early version of it. Let me fix this guy's outfit. Also track player birthdays, creation in game, for sure. That's fun data to play with. And reward player loyalty. Where is Holt? Let's give him a better look. There he is. Let me fix him real quick. And by fixing him real quick, I mean completely screw that up. Okay. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm over here in the database. This should be him. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just trying to throw this generic setup on everybody so that they look a little less janky. Yeah, tan line's pretty extreme. Alright, fixed him. Yeah, his arms though. Jeez, buddy. Is that also the case with other guys I fixed? Probably. Alright, so I've got more work to do on that. Day of Memories? Maybe. I know what it is. I just have been assuming that, those were sleeves, but they're not sleeves. Booblies, thank you for the follow. Do I have some stuff to sell while I'm over here? Yeah, we got a shield that I want to use since it's not nighttime. Do I have any critter bits in my bags that I don't need? Shifty may buy these. Oh, but I just cheated accidentally. But screw it, I'll keep cheating. Project looks great and so much further along in most game dev streams on Twitch. Oh, cool. I appreciate you saying that it looks great. Critter Bits needs to be an official name for the item if it's not already. So what we have is in the background, we've got items flagged in a way where the Memorial Day. That's coming up, isn't it? We've got items flagged with different tags, and so different merchants will only want certain types of items, right? So selling like beetle legs to the cloth armor vendor isn't necessarily... They actually don't give a shit about it. So Critter Bits is the flag for a lot of the generic stuff at the moment. Cloth cap, so here. And so these gloves as well. I might... No, I don't know. Can I afford a small backpack yet? Vingarius? Hey, good to meet you. This game looks great. Reminds me of all the time I spent on Worm Online. Oh yeah, we played Worm on stream last year for a bit and had fun. Oh man, who was it that was in here that... Oh, they were actually like a huge Worm player, like had crazy ships and all sorts of stuff. Man, I feel bad. I'm spacing on the name right now. Small field pack is 4 gold. Bam. Got it. All right. Cool. Vingaria, thanks for the follow. I'm adventured up now. I've got my tunic that I earned via the quest. I've got a couple belt pouches now. That's nice. I've got my Rockin' Adventurer's backpack. Will this game include the amazing feature of accidentally pressing A button and being insta-killed by the guards? Yes, we have that feature. We've already got that one in. It's an important one for us. Love that you can actually see the backpack. Right on. Glad that you like it. So we'll have different options. We've still got to get our cloth in, and then when that's in, you may have like a cape or backpack or a quiver or yeah. The idea of being able to have different attachments was really exciting. So you could have like potion, some flasks or other stuff. So. Oh, yeah, I need to run over here, and now that we've fixed quest turn-ins, I need to run over here and actually finish this quest, get my breastplate. See what that looks like. I think it may look a little weird, but we'll see. Because I think it may make my sleeves and everything disappear. And I'll just be like rocking a bare chest and breastplate, which is kind of, I don't know, that's kind of a bit of a flex, I guess. That's cool. Feature. I hated the Kelthan guards. It took me so long to figure out what was happening. But then once you figured it out, you felt like a pro. Let me go up here to Elrond. The Stone Talon garrison, they really need to spend some money on torches. Hey, Elrond. Long time no see. I think I can turn these in now, buddy. Not the list. Oh, did I delete those items before? I'm not cheating, honest. I swear I've completed this quest, so I'm just gonna make those items again. SI F Beetle I. And SI. What was that item called in the database? Go over here. Items. Elrond. We already got one of these. Copy this. Those of you that have never seen the game before, it seems like there's a few of you in here right now. By show of hands, have you not seen anything on the game other than what I was just doing? Because what I can do is I can pop up when I finish this quest in a minute and give you a little look around. But the Ooblies is definitely one. Oops. Yeah, it sucks. It's weird. I don't have to be able to show you all of the different placeholder zones that we've been blocking out and everything else. Take quite a while. So I won't be going through all of it, but I'll show you a little bit. And then if you go to the website, go through our updates, and I'll show you that in a second. There's so much in the updates that shows off stuff that you otherwise wouldn't see. That they're definitely worthwhile to go through the old updates. So we'll take a look at. And Fritage and Fritage. What's the missing item? What did he want again? Fire Beetle Eye, Skeleton's Jawbone, Snake Fang. That's right. SI, Snake Fang. Cool. Those of you that boom. Thank you, buddy. Those of you that were here Tuesday, you saw me grind through this quest, so you know I'm not cheating. DA Greek said, just want to say you're the man for all the EQ interviews, as well as this project you work on. You understand what makes a captivating, lasting MMO. Appreciate your creative efforts. Well, thank you for that compliment. Time will tell. But yes, I did do the interviews. That part we have done. Yeah, those of you that like old game development stories and aren't aware of like stuff that I've done on the channel, check out these VODs. There's like 60 hours of interviews and discussions with former EverQuest developers. So, and at least one person that was on Dark Ages of Camelot. We'll see about doing some more interviews before it's all said and done. It's just been wild with just everything going on. I haven't really committed time to like trying to set up new interviews and stuff. And it was a lot easier in 2020 when everybody's just working from home. Boom, I got my breastplate. And I got a pack. To go fill with the Shearer Tails. Oh yeah, because I was testing the quest before, I already got this back. So I will destroy that one. We've already got 4. Oh wait. Oh, I'm wearing the tunic. I forgot that I did this out of order. I'm already wearing the tunic. I have to finish the quest. Shit. Okay. Fighter spell merchant? What is this blasphemy? Fighters don't cast spells? No, that's true. But that was our generic naming convention. Nicodemus. Don't you creativity shame us. Love that you have Deadly Slob listed below. Been watching him for almost every morning since 2016. Yeah, it's funny. I forget about the Tarkov references down there. So the story, I think a lot of folks have already heard this a billion times, so sorry. But the story is that I was playing Tarkov a fair bit in 2020 and had been streaming like just news and stuff as everything was getting weird. And then, and so I was watching like a lot of Deadly Slob and Pestly and stuff like that. So I started watching more streams on Twitch because I'd been like messing with DLive or whatever. And then the more I played Tarkov, the more I was like, you know what? The sort of brutal nature of this game and the lack of hand-holding makes me think of EQ. So I started watching EQ streamers. Started watching EQ streamers and then was talking about some of the stuff that I did on EQ. And then somebody was like, oh, I know who it was. Lexus was like, hey, there's a time limited progression server, time lock progression server, TLP coming up. You should check it out. And so I was like, oh, cool. I asked my wife, I was like, hey, do you want to maybe play EQ with me and for the first time and we'll stream it together? And then I'll just, tell stories about like EQ. We just added the Ashira model, so it's got placeholder animation and missing like death animation, all that stuff. But for those of you that are new here. And so yeah, I was really digging Tarkov. Started playing EQ, started streaming EQ, and then like it was like the first day that we were waiting for the server to come up for Air Dune. A handful of people that I used to work with wound up being in chat as well, and then we started going, well, why don't we have more people on the stream that I used to work with? So I started doing interviews and playing a lot of EQ, and then people were like, have you heard of P99, which I hadn't. So then I started playing P99 and really digging like the old school part of it. And then we just started talking about what would make a cool like old school style game and why would we want that. And my job for the last 20 years has been working on MMOs, and I would say at least half of that has been working at companies that make small MMOs. So in thinking about, the kind of the nature of the engines and tools available these days and the teams I've worked with in the last few years and how they started and all that, we decided it seemed feasible to start an MMO on stream. And so that's how this happened. And that was like 2 years ago this month, basically. Ever think about interviewing Pantheon guys like Joppa? I can't remember. Joppa and I have talked quite a bit behind the scenes. I can't remember sort of what our thinking was on that. But I mean, dude, yeah, they've got Co and other people. They don't necessarily need to stream. Wonder if interacting with them has crossed your mind. Could be some good content with people sharing the same passion. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been really, really rad getting to meet Chris and talk to him behind the scenes. Speaking of which, we haven't talked in a fair while, so we need to catch up. We're gonna need a more spectacular launch story. Grandparents' dying wish, overcoming childhood trauma. What, for making the game? I feel like having a bunch of you crazy people in chat like convince us to start making game. I think that's good enough. Attention deficit, thank you for the follow. Hopefully you'll stick around. All right, so let me frame this a little bit for you new folks. You can see. So the idea was that we wanted to make a game that was not only reflective of like the old gameplay style and some of the limitations and constraints of the way MMOs worked in the late 90s, early 2000s, like pretty literally. But we also wanted to do it where after seeing on P99, I think, or maybe it was Aerodune, seeing the old player models in EQ with like new lighting, the shadows on and stuff, it felt like, hey, if we can go old school in our shape language and design, but work on upping fidelity on textures, and really lean into the lighting. So things like really focusing on shadows and day-night cycle and lighting in dungeons and all of that, then we'll have a pretty fun look. And so our style is really, as much as possible, trying to emulate like the old fantasy paintings, while keeping it kind of early 2000s, late 90s in aesthetic. So I'll run up here because this has got a little bit of everything here. Let me set time 6 p.m. Oh, time set, sorry. Nope, that's time. Was it set time? How do I forget all of our commands all the time, man? Space. Wow, I've done this a billion times and I'm immediately... Anyways. So yeah, I mean, like if you look back there, a little bit of lighting goes a long way. Are you thinking to run a stylistic? Are you thinking to run a stylistic or more of a low poly? So so we're going lower poly, and then what we're going to try to do is keep it low poly and retro feeling, but then we've been working this month on some issues we found just in getting the assets in. So we're going to continue to work on getting the fidelity of the textures up. Do we have a help commands list? Help function to give a list. We do. I just didn't think I needed it since I've used that command like a billion times. So there you go, Nicodemus. Do you have a tail for me? No, you have pants. So yeah, so it'll be lower poly, but not hyper stylized. So, and I'd say will be. I mean, we've got stuff in. You can see it. So again, simple shapes, not like crazy overly stylized. So a lot of the proportions on things, like if we go in a dungeon, you know, the rooms and hallways and stuff are not. Oops, I actually didn't mean to zone in. But the coziness that you see in like the older games will still be here, right? We don't have like massive hallways and everything, and just clicked on my LinkedIn. Do I know Jonathan Barron by chance? The name sounds very familiar. Apologies for not knowing it straight out. Yeah, so they're really worried about poison in that dungeon. Yeah. I don't know what they're thinking. And the text, typically, I should be out of range for that at this point, but baby steps. Attention deficit, I hope that answered your question. Ventali said, thanks for the content. I've been watching through your YouTube backlog and Twitch interview VODs. Bill Fisher's interview has been one of my favorites. I need to, honestly, I need to just chat with him again. Fisher is amazing. He's such a like high energy character. He's a rad guy. Feels like a glimpse into the studio during its golden years. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I've got the feeling that we miss a lot of stuff. It would probably be good to have some more discussions. I keep promising like panel discussions with, you know, 3 or 4 people, which would make it easier for people to remember stuff. I'll be honest, I haven't sat down. So maybe once the weather, because I've been spending a lot of time if I'm not here, not doing house stuff, I'm at the garden that we have, just gardening and shit. So I need to, once the weather dies down and the gardening's not as much of a thing, maybe I'll pull together some new interviews and see if I can get some of those guys to remember some stuff we haven't talked about. Centercroft said it would be cool to have like an accessory inventory slot that could serve like multiple different functions, but only one at a time. You could use a small bag slot or a hip torch or a compass or other random small conveniences. Interesting. Yeah, some of the stuff, like right now I've got to have the torch in hand. Oh, I've been meaning to play around with, but I don't know how far I'd get. Play around with duration on the torches, because in theory this torch should burn out. But same for like lanterns requiring lantern oil. But then later, yeah, the accessory of like a lantern. We've talked about having a lantern that you can wear on your hip, or maybe a backpack that comes with a light or stuff like that, as a more advanced thing to get, so that you're not having to hold it. Have to wrap a bandage around a torch to renew it. Yeah, I think you should be able to use your survival skill to make a new torch. Excuse me, and a bandage used, or we have cloth scraps in as well. In that recipe makes sense. See, I've got. I was part of his team at Travian Games. He worked on Air Warrior and UO Renaissance. So was that? Is there? I thought there was a Travian in Germany, and is there also one in Texas? Asked this already in Discord. Attention deficit said, but will items seen on monsters drop? This happened with weapons and EQ, but it's the only game I ever saw something like that on. Yes, we have the ability to flag an item as something they'll show. And I'm looking around right now. We should be able to. We'll go find a skeleton that's got something, and you'll be able to see it in action. Ooh, oh shit. I did not check the level on this. Oh, our name. Warriors level 4. Scouts level 2. Zone line, I'm coming for you. It's the big one. Strafe run. For some reason, the animation makes strafe running look slow. Only in Germany. Okay, then that's the one I'm thinking of. I used to work with somebody that worked there. Oh, and this is why we make a zone-based game. This is why we like zone lines. Let me sit down and recover. Vingarius, what do you do? Do you mind saying? What do you do in the industry if you worked at Travian? Oh, just programming. It was Stefan Bayer. Are you German? You know what? I'm just gonna assume you're German. If you worked at Travian and you enjoyed Worm Online, to me that just seems like very clear German indicators. Stefan Bayer is an interesting character. If you're out there, Stefan, I'm not picking on you, but you know it's true. I know it's true. You're an interesting character. Met him again at DevCom. Cool. He was so funny, man. Because he's a tall guy, and he's like, he'd come in and be like, I'm like, is it Vincent Wolf? I'm like Vincent Wolf from Pulp Fiction. I'm the fixer. If there's a problem, I will fix it. It's like, okay. And then when the shit hits the fan, be like, Stefan, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. What would you like to do? You make the decision. Like, all right, fixer. The cleaner. Whatever that dude's job, his name was. This Ashira better not be camping my ass out here. Okay. Oh, where is Travian? I thought Travian was like more southern in Germany as well. Like Frankfurt or somewhere. Yeah, he is. He's at, last I saw, he was at Deep Silver. Let's go find us a... He's indifferent. Cool, he's a daytime skeleton that did not depop. We gotta get that fixed. Let's go find us either an Ashira or a skeleton that's holding an item. To prove to you that I wasn't. Travian is Munich. Okay, that's what I thought. It's a dope location. I wouldn't mind if we were in Munich right now. I mean, I work from home, so it doesn't matter. Wouldn't that be what Ashira do? Camp and ambush travelers? This is, these are facts. Good call. That is actually, that would be... Oh, so, like I said, they just got edited in, so the attach point is a bit wonky. But you can see this Ashira's got this little placeholder hammer that I made 2 years ago that still has a bug. I just realized why I was like, why is that hotkey not working? Oh, because it's an ability and we updated that and that actually works as intended now. So now I can actually claw scraps and the rusty maul that she was holding. No, actually that's a he. Sorry. That warrior, I am not going to be, can you tell me a little bit about your guys' concepts of the classes, like how they would play? I've been asking Discord about it lately, but would love to hear some direction you're moving towards. Seen a class video on YouTube, perhaps. Too large a question. Very big question, especially... I'm almost going to wrap up here. But I would say, honestly, the best way to get info on that is to scan the Discord for previous responses from Nick and Ali and maybe me on some stuff. And then we'll see. Maybe Nick will be on stream at some point, or I can attempt to answer some questions that weren't answered by any of those sources if you come back. I'll be streaming again next Tuesday and Thursday. Scout, cool. I need 2 more tails to get my breastplate, man. I kind of don't want to quit until I get my breastplate. Sure is looking good. Is this the last model for the proof of concept build? No. Proof of concept, nope. Sendacroft, thank you for your generosity. Gift sub to Kuros. Enjoy it, Kuros. Give me your tails. Natish Nate, thank you for the follow. Yeah, we've had a few lurkers get tagged with gift subs this stream. All Ashiras don't have tails. You know how it is. If we were doing this all simulationist like, of course it would be easier to get the tail. Everything would have eyeballs. You'd have bat wings coming out of your tail. You'd have so many bat wings. Right? But this warrior's coming right at me too. Ruined tail, broken tail, pristine tail. I thought about that. I'll be honest with you. I did think about that. But where do you draw the line? Where do you draw? I almost did that very thing when I set up the quest. But where do you draw the line? Let's just go ahead and have people understand. Look at this guy right here. Kind of want that buckler. I also realize I've had the audio turned off so far to stream. Oops, mixer. So you can hear some of our music now. Don't forget to check out the rest of our music on our website. We've got a playlist of all the stuff that Robert's done so far. Alright, what do we got over here? Scout, cool. I don't know that I'm going to be able to finish this quest on stream. What is that back there? Oh, don't you get away. Warrior. Alright, not messing with that. Any plans for 1-1 items? I want to say you can only kill Mistmore once per server. So we have some ideas for limited items and items that are more limited in that way would be things that well, they come with requirements. They come with maintenance, and if they are not maintained, they'd go back in the pool. So it may not be as direct as just 1 kill item drops. There may be weird ways that you acquire them or things that you have to do. But I really like the idea of really interesting, unique items that then... It's kind of like the Ring, right? Like, so Lord of the Rings, the Ring had a will of its own and was always looking for a new master. Can I swap to a bow when they run as a fighter? I can. I don't think I bought any arrows, or I bought arrows and ran out. Everyone can't be a Jedi? No. So we'll see. We'll see how much we invest in that concept, if anything. But it's on our list. Yeah, no, I get the Swig reference. Okay. Is that a scout way out there? Yep. Do the Ashira interact with the actual jackals, or do they hate their dumb cousins? You'll have to see. We'll have more on that later. Are there inner NPC conflicts beyond the guards? Yes. If you go back earlier in this VOD, we actually talked about factions a fair bit, and I think that's what you're getting at. Cindercroft, nope. I don't know that that's going to be the direction. Man, I want to finish this quest so bad. It's always fun watching an orc fighter fight a spider and steal his kill. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we've already got that. We've already got that in. For example, if you, when we're out here sometime, if you watch an Ashira get anywhere near a skeleton, you'll see them fight. The Ashira do not like the skeletons. Alright. So, I'm gonna run back to the... actually, there's no point in running... make up your mind, Shawn. I got some stuff to sell. I'm gonna run back to the guards. That way I'm at the entrance and camp out. Yeah, I totally forgot at the beginning of the stream that this guy was just waiting on the quest to be fixed so that... Oh, fair point. Quest to be fixed so that I could finish playing through the this initial sort of 2 quest line. What level am I now? 2? So I may actually change it so that I really want to... I'm gonna probably change the quest a little bit to be more encouraging of conflict with the higher level Ashira. Overloaded says, looks like EQ mixed with Age of Conan. What game is this? Here's a link for you. This is our website. Here is our Discord. Where are these going? Cool. Hip quiver. Thanks, Nicodemus. Yeah, there's a bunch more work to do on it, but it's coming along nicely. All right, so, and then I've got some crap to sell. I can't remember if the garrison quartermaster will buy this stuff, but I think so. 1 AC, 1 AC, same thing basically. Do I have anything else? Rusty longsword, 534. Has anybody heard anything about the VR EQ that is being developed? I've seen older YouTube videos. I haven't seen anything since then. But yeah. Nulak, howdy. This city feels familiar somehow. What's up, Doug? Yeah, so let's see. Let me go up here. All right. So I tell you what, guys. I've just crossed the 3-hour mark, and it's after 5 p.m. here, which means it's about time for me to go finish up my chores, get dinner ready. Jasmine gets off at 6, so that gives me a little bit of time. Yeah, for folks that are just coming in, if you're not familiar with the game, here's our website. Thursday? It is Thursday, right? Today's Thursday, isn't it? So Tuesday, Nicodemus. I'll be streaming again Tuesday. And yeah, so we'll get some stuff done over the weekend. This morning, my time was mainly spent getting things into Confluence. Some fun lore stuff. All of that lore stuff is basically fodder for new quests that'll be going in. No worries, Nicodemus. But yeah, so we'll have some new stuff in. I'll finish, basically, we'll go through and we'll finish playing this Fighter Quest series. And then hopefully I'll have the Ranger stuff in. We'll see. Maybe that's ambitious, but I'm hoping to have that in by Tuesday, and then we can play through on a new Ranger. Yeah, again, if you guys are new to the game, one thing that I would definitely recommend doing, here, I'll do it, right now is go to our website, monstersandmemories.com. Once you're there, go to updates, and if you want to see more of the game, there's a lot of game that I don't have time to run through and show all of it all the time now. Doug, hit me up in Discord, man. I remember you mentioned before. That's the thing. Just hit me up in Discord. So yeah, if you go through, you'll see everything that we've been working on. Each month has got a bunch of stuff in here. There's a ton of great concept art as well. Different like gifts. You can also get a sense of all of the tech that we've got in place. Yep, staff is filled at the moment, overloaded. Is a fun sort of, I've been mentioning it a lot just because it's a fun coincidence, but this time last year, everything was super placeholder and it was just like 4 of us. And we put out this like ad for additional people, and that's where we started getting in like the bulk of our team now. And have made really, really good progress. So go to updates, check out updates. Like I said, everyone has got a lot of info, a lot of fun stuff to look at that you may not see either on Discord, because Goblin needs to add all this stuff to Discord, or in other places, and I need to add it to like our website. So yeah, but definitely do that. I will say, Kimmery, you're welcome. Cindercroft, you're welcome. See you on Tuesday. John, have a great weekend. You guys, holiday weekend this weekend, right? In the US? If so, have a lot of fun. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Yeah, Jen's cool. Jen came on for an interview. If you, oh yeah, Labor Day. Now you can't wear white after Monday, I guess. So, Nicodemus, thank you. Topolsky, very welcome. Thanks for being here. See you next week. Oh, right on, overloaded. Very cool. See you. Thanks for being here. Yeah. All right. Tell you what. Everybody have a good weekend. I will bounce out of here now. I will be back on Tuesday. We'll have some new stuff to look at. Cool. Bye-bye.